My name is Tracy. I do a lot of things. I do whatever I enjoy. I enjoy fashion, I enjoy beauty, I enjoy a lot of music, events. So the lines of work I pursue are along such things that I enjoy. I'm 25 years old and I have been thriving or living with sickle cell anemia. I knew that I have sickle cell anemia ever since I was a small child because my mother told me, and every time we used to go to hospital, I used to take like leverage and talk to the doctor about my condition. So that's just how I was raised. So I always knew that I had sickle cell anemia from a young age. My journey with sickle cell anemia has been, well, when I was really young, it was hard because children with sickle cell anemia really suffer from the condition. When you are young, below 18 years is when you really suffer from sickle cell anemia. Because you get sick a lot, you're always in hospital, medicine, getting admitted. Yeah, so growing up it was always an issue because I remember sometimes I'd miss school to go to hospital, or I'd always be on my medication every morning. I had to be reminded, have you taken your folic acid, have you taken your Panodrin? Otherwise, if you don't take them, you will not be okay. So yeah, my childhood, I spent it mostly in and out of hospital. As an adult, it has not really been a big issue for me as it was when I was a child, because as I have been growing up, I've had to make a lot of choices for myself on how I want to live life, and that included making a decision to all-round have a stress-free life. So my management of sickle cell anemia has included a lot of alternative methods of managing it, not really per se taking medication, like for example, the diet, doing practices like yoga, just checking myself like every day, am I okay, am I stressed about something? So yeah, that's basically been my management process, and of course, drinking a lot of water. Growing up, I was always on a medical cover for Jubilee, so a lot of my bills for medicine and always going to hospital was covered by my insurance. So for me, it was really not an issue. But as I grew up, I always asked myself, so how do people with sickle cell anemia who maybe don't come from a well-to-do family, or they don't have the insurance, how do they actually manage having sickle cell anemia? Because sickle cell is something you have to take medicine every day, drugs to manage the condition. Like for example, folic acid, the correct type, which by correct I mean non-generic, is like around 5 shillings to even 10 shillings. But there's the other generic type which you can find at 2 bob. And Panodrin, I remember it was like 10 shillings. So that's around 15 shillings every morning. So I used to wonder how do such people actually survive with sickle cell anemia. The impact of sickle cell in my community has basically been through me meeting a lot of friends of my mother who have kids with sickle cell anemia, or maybe my relatives like cousins who have sickle cell anemia. And that is when I realized that some of them are actually not coping with sickle cell anemia as well as I have. For example, most of them maybe face difficulty in stress because they do not understand how stress is related with sickle cell anemia. So you find most of them maybe are like hopeless about the condition, or they just don't know where to turn for advice about it or who to talk to. Yeah, so I think if we had a community about sickle cell anemia, it would really help, because a lot of people are suffering in silence about sickle cell anemia, because most people don't know actually what it is I'm actually surprised, very surprised, when I hear someone knows what exactly sickle cell anemia is and its impact. As a person, I engage with people a lot on social media. People who talk about sickle cell anemia, organizations that are about sickle cell anemia, even YouTube videos. I try and talk to people there because you find a lot of people, when they're coming out to talk about sickle cell anemia, they're in a condition whereby they're very desperate or having a really hard time. So they usually just need someone to tell them like, hey, you know, even me, I have the condition, or I've been through that, and this is what I did. Because there's no a general pool of information about sickle cell anemia. Hope for sickle cell anemia is actually a hub for people who have sickle cell anemia, a safe place for them to come, share their experiences about sickle cell anemia and their methods of coping with sickle cell anemia, their journeys. I just basically want it to be a place where people can feel safe talking about sickle cell anemia, because for me, I have not really been able to find such a space for myself, so I'd like to create that for everyone, to just give their own journey about sickle cell anemia. And hopefully, as we continue to grow, we'll get like people helping us in various ways, maybe with medical funding and all that. Any sort of help is welcome. So when I started researching about sickle cell anemia in Kenya, I got really few information about it. But as my journey continued, I got to learn about a young man called Joe Mudukiza, who was really speaking about sickle cell anemia and trying to make a change about it. So during the time I was trying to build up hope for sickle cell anemia, that is when I got to meet Joe, and we got to align some of our projects. So through him, I've been able to meet a lot of people who actually are a voice within the sickle cell anemia community, and learn that there are some leaders who actually care about sickle cell and are trying to make a difference in it. For example, Isaac Mauro. Some other diseases that are similar to sickle cell anemia but are not actually addressed by the government are like lupus, leukemia. So such types of diseases, like chronic illnesses that people are born with, you find that they don't really have a place to run to when they need help, like medical help. So I'd really like for the government to look towards that side and help a lot of people who have chronic illnesses. For example, I met a girl called Beryl Acheng who had lupus, and sadly she passed away last year from the disease. And it is so sad because a lot of people, even with sickle cell anemia, pass away just because they don't know what to do or how to manage the illness, or they don't even know the type of medication they're supposed to have, or just basically a lot of stress. So I'd really wish for the government to look more towards the side of people with chronic illnesses.